When we opened, nobody knew what's the Diddy Cheesecake, what's the Lily's Bake Shop. Nobody knew. It wasn't popular. I got scared for a little bit. After a little while, it picked up, and it picked up quickly, and it picked up like a wildfire. And it's like, I was like, what happened? Like, we don't understand where did that coming from. It's so amazing. The store is doing so well. It's like everybody knows about it in Smithtown. We was making the cheesecake in house, but we outgrow the facility. It's like there is no way we can make all the cheesecakes in the house. We rented another kitchen that we only make the cheesecake in the other kitchen, and we just bring it to the shop.
Welcome back to New York's Business Podcast. My name is Jacob Restituto. I'm the host and owner of Restituto Media, a full-service photo and video company here based on Long Island. And today I'm joined with Tarek, the owner of the Dirty Cheesecake, with multiple locations. So I'm looking forward to hearing this conversation. My wife was very excited when she heard that you were coming on because a couple weeks ago she'd been seeing it on social media. She's like,
Right.
we gotta check this place out, and she had been in Smithtown. For an event.
Oh, she has.
She
Okay.
she had been at Smithtown for an event unrelated, and
I
she's like,
see.
I have to stop. So she stopped in and she got like 4 different cheesecakes. It was crazy,
Yeah.
man. But they were phenomenal.
Thank you.
So she was like, wow, that's so cool.
Thank you.
So very, very excited to have the conversation, kind of hear the backstory behind it and hear your story. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Well, the Dirty Cheesecake started. Okay, so the story goes back to the Diddy Cheesecake by Lili. Lili is my daughter, right? We started this when her name is Leanne, but we call her Lili. We started this when she was about 3 years old, when she showed some interest in baking. So we start baking Sunday nights, like we do some brownies, chocolate chip cookies, stuff like that. And then as we got bored of this stuff, we go on YouTube and we start looking at recipes. I was like, how about this? We do this weekend. And me and her, we start developing new recipes. She loves brownie, cheesecake, Oreo, and cookie dough. So we created the Lili cheesecake, which is contained the four ingredients: brownie, cheesecake, Oreo, and a cookie dough. And we still sell this at the location at this point. She created this when she was about 6 years old. So that's one of the top sellers at this point. And I was in the limo business. I had a limousine company. I had no business in baking whatsoever, right? Then it was time for me to switch career when Uber started taking over the limo business. So I sold my cars and I sold the company and I cashed out. And she was like, "So now what, Dad?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just thinking about opening up a new business." She was like, "What about if we open a bakery?" Like, we bake home. Okay, this is like
What year was this? How old was she and what year was this?
2015.
Okay. And how old
2015.
was
She was
she?
about 8.5, 9 years old.
I
She was
love
like, she
that.
was like, she was like, let's open a bakery. I was like, open a bakery. I was like, what do you come up with this idea? She was like, you know what? You're always a risk taker, so let's try that. I'm like, okay.
She's stroking your
Right.
ego.
I was like, you know what? Okay, let's go with this. So I was like, okay. So I called a friend of mine. He has a real estate. He's a real estate broker. I called him. I was like, I'm looking for a location. And he was like, it's funny you said that because I just hung up at the phone with somebody and I have a location in Times Square. I was like, how much is the rent? It was like 19,000. I was like, how big is the place? It was like, it's 400 square feet. It's like literally as big as this room.
Yeah.
And he was on the speaker and Lan was listening. And she was like, Times Square, I love the city. Let's do that. I was like, no, 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 you don't understand. No, you don't understand. This is a different ball game. And that's a lot of money involved. You have to do construction, you have to do deposit, you have to get equipment, you have to like this. It's a lot of factor going on in this. And then we slept
I
on.
have to just say, I
Right.
love the childlike faith that she has.
No, she always trusted me. She always have faith
But
in
I
me.
think that I think we lose that a little bit as
Right.
we get older, and I think there's something admirable about it that the hey, let's just do it mentality. And obviously, there's risk involved, and
Right.
obviously, there's reason as we get older. But I do think that some people could benefit from a little bit more of that childlike faith of like, hey,
But the,
just let's do
right,
something.
no, I completely agree with you. That is my backstory is that I took a huge risk of moving into this country when I was born and raised in Egypt, right? And finished college. I packed my bags and I was like, I'm out of here. I didn't speak in English. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any friends, and I just figured my way out here. So this story that I told my kids, and my kids know that I am a risk taker. So that's why Leanne is always pushing, like, let's do this, let's do that. So, long story short, we slept on this for like month and a half, 2 months, And I called my friend. I was like, "Is the location still available?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "We're taking it
In Manhattan.
in the city."
Whoa.
And
Okay.
he was like, "Okay." So we negotiated back and forth. We end up taking the place in the city in 2016. From 2016 to 2020, it was a home run. It was a huge success. Huge success.
Where in Times Square?
It's right in 7th Avenue on 53rd Street. So it's between Times Square and Central Park. We had no social media present. I had no idea about Instagram, Facebook, no social media present whatsoever. But the foot traffic was killing it, right? And Lan was always with me, like in the weekend, and when it's summer, she would come with me to the kitchen. We'll bake together. Was like we take the stuff from the kitchen because the place was small in the city, so we had to rent a kitchen outside the city.
Oh my gosh.
It was yeah, but it was the motivation was there,
Yeah.
like the happiness when I see her happy and she's excited to go to the city. 9 years old, and she worked with me for 12 hours
Yeah.
with no complaint whatsoever. I was like, all right, let's do this, right? So COVID hit, and somebody like flipped the switch. Like imagine making $10 a day to making like 5 cents a day.
Wow.
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing. Died. Business died. Completely died. I was like, I had to come up with something to get the business up and running again. And that's when the Dairy Cheesecake was born. So in June,
What was the original name?
Lily's Bake Shop.
Okay.
So I named it after
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
I wasn't sure because you mentioned the dirt. I think was it like the Dirty Cheesecake by
By
Lili?
Lily.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, but the original concept was
Yeah.
Lily's Bake Shop. It was
Yeah.
all based on cupcakes, brownies, cookies.
see.
We have no business in the cheesecake.
Okay.
So we didn't, that's not how we started. We started like a bake shop,
Mm.
right? But Leanne loves the cheesecake. And then we was playing with the cheesecake on the sticks. Me and Leanne was thinking about how to come up with a new idea and how to improve the business and how to make it excited again. So somehow we found a video on YouTube, some people doing it at home, but it was like a small pieces and like a cake pop, right? But he was like, let's do this in a bigger version, like a whole cheesecake on a stick, dip it in chocolate. It took us a long time to figure out the recipe and what's the right temperature for the chocolate to stick on the cheesecake and how we stick the cheesecake on the stick. Like it was a whole process. We figured it out, and then we launched the concept in July 2020. In September 2020, we was pushing about 900 pieces a day.
Wow.
A day.
In the city still?
In the city still. We had no presence in Long Island yet. We moved in Long Island in 2020, in 2022. So we was pushing about 900 pieces of cheesecake a day. So because the store was small and we didn't have enough space, we was getting the delivery from the kitchen 3 times a day.
Wow.
Right. So
That's crazy. So okay, before we even get any further, I want to hear what do you think differentiated you guys from other bakeries? I mean, a bakery and eateries in New York City are a dime a dozen. You can't throw a rock and hit four of them.
Right.
So what made you guys different that you exploded?
Everything was made with love. I'm being honest with you. Like everything was made with love. Like even here's the thing: we created the banana pudding, right? Our banana pudding. When you think about banana pudding, you think about Magnolia's Bakery, right? Magnolia's Bakery was the one that like how they invented the banana pudding, right? Leanne loves banana pudding, so we made a banana pudding better than Magnolia. So we had customer coming to the city taking our banana pudding. I was like, that's better than Magnolia. I was like, yeah, my daughter, yeah, she's like 9 years old. She made that, And people loved seeing Leanne behind the counter.
Backstory.
Yes, she's talking to customers. She's ringing the register. She's making deliveries. So it's like, and that's Lily's, and people were taking pictures with her. She felt like a celebrity. And I love that about her. Like, okay, she trusted me. I made something that it's working, and I see it at a reflection on her eyes that she's happy about this, right? So it was like, okay. So in October 2020, the store went on fire. Electric fire just shut us down completely. So
Wow.
we had to close for about I'll say about 2.5 months for renovation. But the minute we opened the door, the support from everybody around the neighborhood, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was like we never closed. That's how busy it was. And then was like, let's expand. I talk to my daughter like she was my business partner. Like my business partner.
Yeah, that's
Right?
amazing.
So it's actually she's going for business because she wants to take the business outside the country.
Wow.
She wants to open in Dubai.
Wow.
So
I mean, I can see it doing really well. Absolutely.
right. So
Absolutely. I mean, there was that whole Dubai chocolate craze. Yeah, are you familiar with that?
That's what
Oh,
I brought with me.
okay. I'm looking forward. So let's. I guess we can.
That's what I
Should we
brought.
pivot into that?
Yeah, that's what I brought for me
That's
to
too
try,
funny.
for you to
Yeah.
try.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, so when I was talking to Leanne about expanding the business, she was like, "Let's open in Long Island because in the city, actually, I leased a place in the city for 5 years, and we're about to approach the end of the 5 years. So I was really hesitant of renewing or just move to another place because city was taking too much time from me commuting every day. Just driving to a city that's 2 hours in and 2 hours back. That's 4 hours of the day just wasted in commute. So we came across an opportunity right up like 5 minutes away from the house from where we live, and I put an offer. The offer got accepted. They know about the concept in the city, so we opened the place in North Babylon. That's where we started in Long Island, North Babylon.
Yeah.
We signed the lease in North Babylon in 2020, in March 2022, and in June 2022, the lease was up in the city, and I was like, I'm not going back to the city. We're done. So we closed the door in the city and we focus on Long Island.
Was there a concern that in that transition, the city? I mean, the city's the city.
Right.
Granted, the city had changed a lot post COVID,
Right.
but there's like millions of people in the city. Was there a concern that the business would not be as popular when you moved to a suburb?
It was, and it wasn't. It wasn't popular. It wasn't popular when we moved in. When we opened, nobody knew what's the Dirty Cheesecake, what's the Lily's Bake Shop. Nobody knew. So I got scared for a little bit. So after I closed the shop in the city, because the shop in the city was my main income. So when we closed it, and the focus was North Babylon. North Babylon wasn't doing that well the first year and a half. So after a little while, it picked up, and it picked up quickly, and it picked up like a wildfire. And it's like, I was like, what happened? Like, we don't understand, where did that coming from, right? So now Instagram influencers start reaching out to us. We want to work with you. Would you? I was like, but I'm not paying anybody. Like, why not? We're just gonna do it for free because the concept was new. The concept was nobody knew about the cheesecake on a stick. So
This was 2023.
that was in the end of 2023.
Okay.
Right, in the end of 2023. So
Is this before we get? Is this what made you? So you mentioned influencers. You said it started to blow up. Is it because of influencers, or is it unrelated to it?
it's unrelated.
It just randomly started to do well.
Randomly, I don't know what happened. It's like, it was God sent.
Invented it. Okay.
So as soon as we start picking up in late 2023, I started looking for another location, and I landed the one in Smithtown. Actually, no, the Smithtown landlord approached me.
Wow.
Came to the shop. Leanne was behind the counter. He was talking to Leanne. I was like, I love the concept, blah blah blah. And she was like, why didn't you talk to my dad? Then she called me. She was like, is there somebody here wants to talk to you? Blah, blah, blah. Can I give him your phone number? I was like, yeah, give him my phone number.
She's a great business partner. She's even gatekeeping the phone number.
So I was like, she gave him my phone number. He reached out to me. I sat down with him the same day. We signed the lease in Smithtown.
Wow.
I was like, let's do the lease today.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we shook hand on it. We wrote the paper. Then the following week, our attorneys get in touch with each other. We signed the lease. Done.
So I want to ask you about the Smithtown before we go any further, because it's a unique location in the sense that it's on Main Street, Jericho,
Right.
Turnpike, Smithtown. I pass it all the time,
Right.
actually. I'm from Northport, so heading anywhere in that direction, I pass it. What I find interesting is it's really a beautiful location, but I'm curious, is there a lot of foot traffic? What's the, like, how does that, what's the traffic
There's
traffic
not a lot
situation?
of foot traffic.
Yeah, so is it,
We attract the traffic.
yeah,
It's so amazing. The store is doing so well. It's like everybody knows about it in Smithtown. And it's like even my son was getting a haircut the other day, and he was like, so I was like, Dad, I hear people talking about our shop. I was like, how? She was like, I went to the Dirty Cheesecake and I got blah blah blah. I was like, seriously? I was like,
I mean, we just,
Right.
I've filmed interviews back to back,
Right.
for people listening, and I was walking the first guest out, and you were in the lobby, and he's like, oh hey, I know,
Yeah, oh, the cheesecake guy.
exactly, the cheesecake.
Right.
So and the guy happened to be from Smithtown as well, but
Right,
still,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
really, it's getting.
And
it's
no,
getting-
we get. I'm being honest with you. Me and Leanne, we get this all the time. We'll go somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, you guys from the Dairy Cheesecake, right?" I was like, "Yeah, we are." Right.
So what are you doing now to continue to expand? But we briefly talked about influence and marketing. So can you continue along that thread? Like it's
Now is like we have a future plan. So I was talking to my real estate guy last week, and we put together. We've been working on this for the last, I would say, about 3 months. So we finally have like a game plan. So we expanding the business to a 5 locations in the next 2 years.
Wow.
So we have three other locations to add in the next 2 years. We already know what town we're going into, and then I think after that we're gonna franchise.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, it has a super franchisable name.
Right. Right.
You know, it sounds silly, but it's really interesting when you hear business names. There certain ones just click,
Right.
you know, and certain they just hold a certain weight to them.
Yeah.
And I could see a dirty cheesecake in Tampa, Florida. I could see a dirty cheesecake in Montreal. It's just there's something about it
The
that
name.
just
The
yeah,
name is very catchy.
it is.
Right.
But people, I think, businesses don't necessarily. I mean, they think a lot about the name, but I think
Right.
that there's sometimes the name just kicks.
It's the name
Clicks.
what gets people inside the door. Right. Yeah. People wonder what's the dirty
Where did the
cheesecake.
name come from?
My girlfriend. She picked up the name.
And just an idea, or
It was her idea.
well,
Yeah,
just
it was.
nothing related. I wasn't sure if it was related to the ingredients, and it was like,
It
oh,
was her idea. I was like, why didn't you call it the dirty cheesecake? I'm like, dirty cheesecake.
so that came in the start of the North Babylon, or did you rebrand when you were in the
And I
city?
wanted to call the North Babylon dirty cheesecake, but I couldn't because Uncle Giuseppe in the same shopping center, he has a bakery exclusive, so I couldn't name the store anything with cake on it, like dessert shop or cake or anything like that. So we had to call it Made by Lily's.
So
But
it was just made by Lily's.
yeah, it's Made by Lily's, the one in North Babylon. But it's the
Wow.
Dairy Cheesecake. And then when we opened the one in Smithtown, we called it the Dairy Cheesecake.
By Made by Lily's.
But yes,
Very interesting. And Made by Lily's just to it was the name of the
one in the city.
Manhattan.
Right, right,
exactly.
right. Yeah, yeah.
It's a very, very interesting. And what I'm hearing so far is just the ability to pivot. I
Right.
think that I have a lot of, as we were talking before, I've had a lot of business owners on here, and a lot of the really successful ones are the ones that pivot and things change. And hey, business, we had a fire, or business became really slow. What can we do to take us to the next level
Right.
and change? And
Right.
being open to that rather than being, you know, even just before you even open the bakery, the pivot from Uber to from like the limousine company to when Uber took over to hey, I got to do something different.
Right.
A lot of people just white knuckle and say, hey, I'm gonna make this work, but this is all I know, or I'm not even gonna adapt, and
Right.
and then they lose everything.
No, sometimes you know when to get out.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
yeah, it's when the right time to get out, you have to get out.
So now that business is totally picked up compared to the 2023 lull, what are you actively doing to maintain that and to continue to grow the business?
Marketing.
Tell me more about it. Yeah.
The marketing. So we have a fantastic social media marketing girl. She's handling our social media marketing, and she was like, Tarek, I handle so many social media accounts, and yours by far is the busiest one that is keeping me busy because we have a lot of people reaching out wants to work with us a lot. Like she was like she's walking around with a calendar. She was like, I have to tell them you have to post here, you have to post this, you have to post that. She was like, and you don't have that with other business. She was like, no, I don't have that with other business. Like I post three, 4 times a week for other businesses. For yours is like twice a day now. Like I was like, all right, that's a good thing. Uh, and actually we hiring on July 1st, we actually bring in a huge social media marketing. He's gonna push they're gonna push our following. So we trying to gain more following in Instagram, and then once we gain the follower, we're gonna start pushing on marketing again. Like we trying to expand our. We have people coming in from Brooklyn. We have people
Wow.
coming in from the city. It's like we have videos of people coming in from Brooklyn, drove all the way from Brooklyn because they heard about the dirty cheesecake.
Yeah.
So something is working.
Yeah.
You know.
It's really incredible to see when businesses have that success, even from the Made by Lilies in the city. It's an incredible story, and kind of. But I love the simplicity of the fact that it's just made by love, and it's really
Right.
cared for. So now the two locations, do you have in-house kitchens? Is everything made there now, or
Everything is made there now except the cheesecake. We was making the cheesecake in house, but we outgrew the facility. It's like there is no way we can make all the cheesecakes in the house. So we have another kitchen. We rented another kitchen that we only make the cheesecake in the other kitchen, and we just bring it to the shop.
You mentioned that at the peak of the city, you were doing 900 pieces a day. Are we at the same level now, or is it kind of building up to that still, or have you totally surpassed that?
No, we're doing better.
Oh my, that's crazy.
Yeah,
You-
between the two shops, yeah, we're doing.
Wow,
we're doing
it's incredible. Are things in place now for going forward to the to like with moving forward with the locations and stuff? When do you start to reveal where those things are coming out?
It's in probably the next month or two.
So tell me a little bit about a little bit of the back end running, logistically, like are there any apps or services or programs that you use to keep things in line and keep things in check as you're,
Yeah.
yeah,
I am
it
the
just
admin services.
just runs all through you.
It's like,
So then how do you maintain your head?
uh, I don't know. I don't have any more head. No, it's I do everything. I'm hands on and I do everything. I do the payroll. I do the scheduling. I do the shopping list. I do the inventory. I have a great help in Smithtown, the store manager in Smithtown and the store manager in North Babylon. Both of them, they are phenomenal. I couldn't do it without them, but everything has to go through me first.
Mm.
Like, so think about it. Every month we introduce a new flavor of the cheesecake, a new flavor of milkshake, a new flavor of cheesecake cup. So like we have to be creative and we have to come up with new ideas. So everybody will come up with the idea. We sit down, we discuss the idea, we discuss the recipe, we try the recipe before we launch it. Once we're good, all right, let's do it. So it's a lot of process and a lot of work, but it pays off.
Well, I find that really interesting in itself that a lot of businesses have something that is successful and they just maintain that as
Right.
opposed to you guys where it sounds like every month you're trying to continue to innovate and continue to do something new and continue to try to find the next best thing.
Right. So last month we launched the Dubai cheesecake. It was supposed to be the flavor of the month, and then that's what we do. We launch it for a whole month, and then we take it out, and then there is a new flavor of
Wow.
the month. So it's a limited. It's like a
Yeah,
limited
like a
edition.
scarcity concept.
Right. Yeah. So you come in. It's here for like a strawberry shortcake was here for February for Valentine's, right? And then once February is over, we take it out. Even people are asking for it now. Where is it? Can you bring it back? I was like, it's gonna come back next February.
Oh
You
man.
you gotta wait for
Hey,
it.
I love that.
So, but the Dubai cheesecake, which is the one I brought for you to try today, we launched it in March, and with the amount of sales, I can't take it out.
It's become a staple.
I was like, I can't. No,
Yeah,
we have to keep this one in the menu.
So what is we're filming at the end of at the beginning of June. What is June's currently?
June is now is the peanut butter. It's not a butter, which is for Father's Day, and we're doing the banana pudding shake.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you also have staples that stay the same.
We have 18 flavors in the menu every day.
Wow.
Right.
That's interesting, actually. I'm curious, that seems like a lot.
Right.
Do you,
We have 186 items in the store.
it also seems like a lot.
Right.
So do you find that customers get like overwhelmed, like, oh wow, I don't even know which to try, or do
Yes.
they just try, hey, like
No. Okay. So you walk into the store. It's your first time you walk into our shop, right? And you don't know. You heard about the Didi cheesecake, but you don't know what to expect. So you walk in. It's like, oh, it's not just a cheesecake. You guys have macarons. You guys have cupcakes. You guys have cake by slice. You guys have coffee. You guys have cookies.
which brings in the Made by Lili,
Right.
concept as well,
Exactly.
tying in.
Right. But again, it's so when I hire an employee, I sit down with them and I explain to them, people walk in here, they don't know what to get, they don't know what to expect. So you have to be extra patient, you have to be very helpful, just walk them through. So when you walk into a shop, you're gonna have a designated person behind the counter. You're gonna walk you from the beginning, and then they're gonna ring you. So from the beginning to the end, it's like a concierge kind of thing, right? So okay, you hear you like cheesecake. You're like, no, I don't like cheesecake. So the same thing, the cheesecake on a stick, we do on a brownie for people who don't like cheesecake.
Wow.
So it's a brownie on a stick. So if we get people that I don't eat cheesecake, all right, you don't eat cheesecake, we have brownie.
I knew about a couple of the things. I knew about the cheesecake, obviously. I
Right.
knew about the macaroons and stuff, and the coffee because I had just seen things online. There's a lot of you do a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of
So
stuff.
I'm curious. You mentioned the hiring process,
Right.
and then before we started filming, we were just talking about finding the right people. I'm curious, one, how you find the right people, but also how important culture is within the employees for you.
It's a ZipRecruiter. We use ZipRecruiter to hire new people, and actually we've been very blessed with the group we work with now. The team we work with, they've been phenomenal. Everybody phenomenal. And I have people been working with me since I opened Made by Lilies in Smith and North of Babylon. It's been.
And then do you try to build culture in within the workspace and say, hey, this is how we treat customers and this is how we.
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
So talk to me about that process.
So it's like a little handbook. So we have like
Actually written out.
yes.
Oh wow,
Right.
great.
So you take that home, you study it, and then when you come back, I'll test you.
Wow,
Like, yeah, like,
that's pretty cool.
and then I will run with the new employee as a customer. So I'm gonna walk into a shop and he's just gonna just pretend I'm a new customer. Just walk me through the process. How are you gonna do this? How are you gonna make me cheesecake on a stick? So I'm first time here. What do you recommend? What do you like? So it's things like that. So make the employee more comfortable.
Is yeah, by trial by fire with the boss.
Right.
Anything's easier after
Right,
that.
right, right. But again, I treat the employees as a family. So in
Sure.
birthdays, we make birthday parties for the employee.
Oh,
We
that's
make a
really
cake.
cool.
We make, like, you know what I
That's
mean?
really
So
cool.
we had a death in one of our employees' family. So we all went to the funeral.
Mm.
All of us went to the funeral.
So it seems that culture is really important to you.
Right.
I'm curious the demographic of your employees because, and before you even answer the reason I'm asking this, not necessarily like race or anything, age demographic, because typically in these dessert style things, it's usually like 16-year-old kids. That like, is that the same? Does that translate to you, or do you have? Is it?
I have 60. I have 16, which is my son is the youngest. The youngest of one of my employees, 16. And I have 55.
See, that's really interesting because again, and I wonder if that also helps with the sales aspect of it and the culture of um, the community, the
Right.
employee. And not that there's anything wrong with hiring younger, but like typically, like you go into like an Italian ice place, hypothetically,
Right,
right?
right.
And it's just like
There's a kid
16-year-old
behind the counter.
girls,
Right.
like hanging out, and they're great usually. It's not usually a problem, but it's maybe a little harder to train that service mentality behind them
And I
as opposed
completely
to a
agree with
20
you.
or 30 or 55-year-old, right?
Right, right.
So I find that really unique, and that could be a pillar of the success. That it's like,
So when I have a young employee coming in board to like with us to work with us, I usually put them to shadow an older employee so they learn the work ethic and
older isn't that's been there longer, or older isn't like actual age.
either or. If I have a 17 years old that has been working for me for I will say about 9 months. She's a superstar.
Mm.
17 years old. You will never know she's 17 years old. The
Yeah,
way she carries herself, dependable, reliable, rock star.
yeah,
You
I
know?
love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's really interesting. And it's really cool to see when local businesses are doing really, really well, and it's inspiring for other businesses because it shows what's actually possible. A lot of people, whether it be through success of high quality product or whether it be the incorporation of social media, I think that a lot of businesses can learn from the model that you have. And I think I really, first of all, appreciate you taking the time to come on. But now let's showcase the product. Can you break it out and
Yes,
show
absolutely.
people what it
Yes.
looks like?
This is for you.
Oh, thank you.
So first you start the box though. We made this custom box. It has the name on it, right? Can you read that?
How dirty do you want it?
Right. And then because
Wow.
it's usually a frozen piece of cheesecake to stick on a stick, it needs to sit for about 20 to 30 minutes. So we put all the instruction here.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. We keep our so for people that can't read it, we keep our we keep our cheesecake on a stick extra chilled, like you just said. For the best experience, let's let it sit at room temperature for 20-30 minutes to achieve the creamiest texture. Kind of similar to almost like an ice cream cake.
Right.
How
Right.
you would take that
Yes.
out of the freezer.
So that's it. And then you take that.
Yeah, show it on camera. I'll take it out. Give the people the experience. It has
been sitting
it's been sat for a little bit
yeah, so
extra.
it's kind of hard now. But that's the Dubai cheesecake on a stick.
Very interesting.
Please dig in.
And now I'm supposed to eat it on camera.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Dig in. You got dig in and let me know what you think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Looks phenomenal. So what is it? Tell me a little bit about the Dubai chocolate. Because I know a little. I mean, a colleague, a friend of mine, they have like a 12 or 13-year-old daughter, so she was obsessed with it. That's the only extent of my knowledge of the Dubai
Okay.
chocolate. So tell me a little bit more about
So
the
the Dubai chocolate is basically, you see this? This is the kunafa. I don't know if you know what kunafa is. Kunafa is a Middle Eastern pastry, right?
Okay.
And it's mixed with pistachio cream.
Okay.
So I need to try that, and you let me know what you think. Because you will understand. The crunch,
Wow,
the cream, right?
that's crazy.
Right?
No, that's actually crazy.
Now we understand why I have to leave that in the menu.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is so different than I expected. You see the what do you pronounce
The
it?
kunafa.
Kanafa. And you have an idea in your mind of what you think it's going to be, and then
It's not.
it's so much lighter than you'd expect.
Right.
That's crazy.
It,
Oh,
it,
now I'm
uh,
gonna have to
it's
have on the camera a second piece. That's not fair, man. You should have one so we like at least like get to stuff our faces together. But
That's for you.
that's not fair.
I trust me, I had my fair share.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like it, my friend. It doesn't look like it. That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
So you mentioned like the long term, next 5 years. Anything in the short term? What do you see next coming up, and maybe over the summer, over the fall? Like, what are you guys excited about the Dirty Cheesecake?
We actually was thinking to open up a new shop in this year, but we had a setback. So we changed the location because we didn't agree on the term of the lease. So we had to walk away from, it was Rockville Center. I was going to open a Rockville Center, but we didn't agree on the lease. So we had to move into the next one on the list, which is going to set us back about 4 or 5 months. So it's not going to happen this year.
I'm curious your opinion on this, like how, like for example, like a farmer's market would work for you, like almost setting up a booth and having people have your cheesecakes on, like they could buy it there. I've been an interesting concept.
So
Like
that's
pop-up shops, I guess you could
pop-up
say.
shop. So that's what Smithtown location manager has really been pushing me to do. It's like pop-up shops, but I was like, it's too much work for me to do the pop-up shop because we have to drag all this, the freezer, the chocolate machine, all this stuff, and then I was like, I'd rather invest in on a store and have people know where I am. And that's what's happening now. People know exactly where we are and they come to us.
That's a great, yeah. That's a really interesting argument against, because it's all about marketing, right?
Right.
And typically people do the pop-up shop for marketing. It's an exposure,
Right.
And that's a really interesting against that, where it's like argument against that, where it's instead of, hey, we're going to spend this money on marketing, getting our name out there, we're going to invest in a location where people know that they can come to. That's really interesting.
Since we opened Smithtown, we have 5 different investors came to talk to me about expanding and take this brand to a next level. I turned them down. I was like, I'm doing this myself.
Wow.
I was like, no, I'm doing this by myself. This is my baby.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to report to somebody else. I don't want to say, I don't want to have anybody else that I have to, before I make a decision, I have to come back to, so.
Well, you report to your daughter.
Right. Yeah, right.
It's phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you. You really like it?
No, I'm not blowing smoke. It's
Okay.
actually, it's very, when I saw the pistachio, I was like, I don't know.
Right.
But it's actually very good.
Thank you. It all goes back to the cheesecake. If you don't have the right.
Well, there's no question. When my wife brought it home, first we looked at these look insane, and then we had them like, no, these are actually insane. Like they were actually like so good. And I'm not in any way blowing smoke because it was actually very, very.
That's the feedback and our reviews like on Google, Yelp, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I was like, in the shop in the city, I had about 700 good reviews. Right after COVID, and we closed in like a year and a half after COVID, or something like that, right? The one in North Babylon now we have almost 600 reviews. Smithtown, we opened in 6 months, we'll have about 300 reviews.
Yeah.
So it's like
people are knowing it.
People loving it, and they coming back, and we have already repeated customers. And
I'm curious what you do to potentially even improve the product. Like, are you constantly looking at different recipes? Or different
Absolutely.
Things? So tell me a little bit. Because the reason I ask is I do a lot of work, photo and video work for restaurants and stuff like that. And particularly, this concept came from pizzerias, where I was at a client, and the owner came in, or actually one of the employees came in, like almost essentially like a delivery guy came in with another box of pizza into the pizzeria, and I was like, "What's going on here?" And he's like, no, the owner was like, I have to test everybody's. I want to know what the competition looks like, what they're tasting like, how they hold up in this and this. And I was like, wow, that's really cool.
We do the same. We do the exact same thing. So the Smithtown manager is like, we have a really close relationship, me and her.
Don't mind me. I'm gonna just
no. Go ahead. I know once you start, you can stop.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So she will say, "Did you hear about that bakery that opened up down blah blah blah?" I was like, "I heard about it." She was like, "I'm going there tomorrow." I was like, "Okay." So she will go there. She will buy stuff, and she will come to the shop. We sit together. We try this. I was like, "No." She was like, "What do you think of that?" I was like, "Okay, that's actually good." Stuff like that. We talk about, and I was like, "Okay, how can we improve this and make it better?" Right? So we always know what's okay. This shop opened. What they have different than us? But we have a very unique concept that we're not worried about anybody else. You know what I mean? It's very unique that people look at. I want to go to Dirty Cheesecake. It's become a status. I want to go to Dirty Cheesecake. And it's. I'm being honest with you. It's not cheap either, but you pay for what you get. What you pay for.
Well, that's another thing to talk about is the idea of I don't know what the word would be like, but I don't want to say commanding, but like asking, I will say commanding a certain price, right? Like a price point,
Right.
but then also delivering on that price. You're not just expensive to the sake of being expensive.
Right.
When
Yeah.
when you see the cheesecake, you're like, oh well, no wonder. What's the average price for a stick right now?
That's 11.99.
Yeah, like
Right.
you would expect it to be a 12. I thought it was 12
Right.
for my memory served it. It's like it's like not crazy. You go to a restaurant and you pay 10, 12, 16, $17
A
for
piece of dessert, and it's not as
kind of
smaller. That's right.
subpar dessert,
Right. Right. Right.
and you see this and it's like, oh wow, it's not just a piece of cheesecake.
Yeah.
But so not only are you have the price, but you also have the presence to kind of back it up.
And it's people love the show because we made this fun of you.
Hmm.
So we take the cheesecake, we put it in the steak, we dip it in chocolate, we put the topping. It's a show.
So the whole process is done right in front of you. It's not
Yes, right in
it's not
front of
even
you.
on a
No, no,
stick.
no, no. It's just right in front of you. We have the cheesecake sitting in the fridge. So we pull it out, we put it in the steak, we dip it in chocolate, like everything. And people videotape this, and that's how we get our marketing. They post it for us, they tag us, and then we retag and repost, and that's how we're gaining followers now.
It reminds me of a concept. Essentially, it's essentially the marketing term is UGC, user generated content.
Right.
And one of these, as we spoke beforehand, that I'm a musician, and one of these bands that I'm a really big fan of, what I found is that I would be online on social media and I was watching all this content of the band, but
Right.
it wasn't even the band posting it. They had created such an experience at their concert that every member of the audience wanted to film and wanted to share and wanted to, hey, like just put it online, that they didn't need a marketing team.
Right.
Their fans were the marketing team. They gave such a great experience that everybody wanted. There was great visuals, great music, great everything, great storytelling from the
Right.
banter. That was their marketing. They didn't have to post because they did, but they didn't have to because everybody else was posting for them.
Right, and that's exactly what we're doing now. We have the social media, our social media marketing girl. She doesn't come to a store to videotape anymore, to film anything anymore. So she doesn't come. She comes now once, maybe every 2 weeks. She was like, Tarek, I don't have to come. I was like, I have content for the next 2, 3 weeks. You
Yeah.
know, and our story, we have 30, 40 stories every day. She's reposting stories from everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's good.
It's honestly the best time to marketing because it's what influencer marketing is, and even outside of it, influencer marketing doesn't have to be the million followers. It's
Right.
it's the mom that has 5 followers, but she's influential to those 5 other people, right?
Right.
And that's the concept of it's essentially modern day word of mouth. That
Right.
not only I'm telling wow I had a great experience at the Dirty Cheesecake. I'm telling a friend. I'm not just telling 45 friends or 4,500 friends or 45,000, depending, right? You just tell those people in the same manner that you tell them around the dinner
Right,
table
right.
or around, having a beer on a Saturday, right?
Right.
And it's just, so that being said, that style of marketing is super effective because it comes from a trusted source. It's not an ad that's just shown, that's pushed down your throat online or on TV or anything like that, or even like nobody wants to see an ad,
Right.
but people want to know what
Your personal experience.
your personal
Right.
experience and
Your
your
personal.
personal
Oh, you've been
opinion.
there? Okay. Was it good? Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's I had this conversation with the real estate agent that I work with, and he was like, Tarek, you really should be proud of yourself. Like a lot of small business are really struggling right now and really having a hard time, and you just blowing up. I was like, yeah, but thank God. It's like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I
know.
hear you, man. So it has been an absolute pleasure to hear your story,
Thank
and
you
I'm
so
really
much,
looking
Jacob.
forward to seeing what comes next for you guys in the next 3 locations that you plan on.
Right.
But also, from your daughter, with seeing what happens in franchise.
I
but
really
also
wish
in
she was here
Dubai.
today.
Yeah, we should have filmed it on a
Yeah.
on a weekend. She could have came.
Right.
You know what? I would love, we'll set it up on like a Saturday or maybe after school for her.
Absolutely.
I would
Yes.
love to hear her part of the
Yes.
story. I
Yes.
think
That
that
would
would
be
be
great.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay.
So thank you for taking the
Jacob,
time.
thank you so much.
It was such a weak handshake on my part. I apologize. I caught you
Let's
too
do it
early.
again.
Yeah. He's gonna judge me based on the handshake. But if you are a business owner or you know any business owners that you think might be a good fit for this podcast, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to hear your story. And Tarek, thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you so
the time.
much, Jacob,
And
for
if you
having
are
me.
in the Long Island area, on Long Island, 100% go check out the Dirty Cheesecake, whether it be in North Babylon, or actually it's not the Dirty Cheesecake over there, made by Lili
Lily's, yeah.
in North Babylon, and the Dirty Cheesecake made by Lily's in Smithtown. So thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Jack.
It's been a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much.